Hi, I'm Kirby Allison, and I'm very excited to have Paolo Martorano back in the studio for our final fitting. Paolo, thank you so much.
Good to see you again.
For coming in, and of course, it's always great to see you on your trunk shows. I know that you travel quite prolifically, and a few months ago, we had the privilege of a final fitting, but we got caught in a little bit of a, let's say it, a lifestyle transition.
Yeah.
And I think that, unfortunately, the axe fell quite hard because I think you were the first bespoke tailor that I had a final fitting for post-weight loss, and it was pretty dramatic.
Yeah, well, it's not unheard of today.
That's right.
It's a common problem in our industry, our clientele.
Yeah.
But, we did our best like we would do for any customer, taking a look at it, seeing what we could do. But as you mentioned, we were in a unique position because we had the buttonholes cut. Mm-hmm. We were pretty much finished.
Yeah.
So because of that, we were way off the limitations we have. So we want to deliver a perfect garment, or at least as close to perfect as we can, especially for a first-time customer like you are. So we had to do what we had to do, and we remade it from scratch.
Really? You had to remake it.
New pattern. New Kirby,
I feel terrible. I feel terrible. Well, I don't have the jockey scale here with me, but I can speak from at least the home scale that I've been pretty consistent since the last time we met. So I can't wait to see the garment. I know that it was, even despite the weight loss, I thought fit pretty fantastic, but I can't wait to see it spot on.
Yeah, well, the tape measure doesn't lie. So at least we have that. Yeah. And the fitting also doesn't lie. So let's take a look. I'm looking forward to it. You can see, this fabric, the Fin Moresco from Smith Woolens. Even traveling here from New York to Florida to now Dallas. Yeah. Almost out of my luggage came out perfectly.
Yeah, look at that.
You can see your back. Mm-hmm. There's the Kirby Allison spine. You can see that. The sleeve pitch and everything, the roll of the lapel.
It's a beautiful suit. 3-piece, right? We'll see this all on. And then a beautiful, as you said, real foundational, navy.
Yep.
And, even on the hanger, you can see the amount of shape. On the back, right, on the hanger, you can see how it doesn't hang perfectly.
Exactly.
And that is not because of the hanger and not because of the garment, but it's because the garment
your body.
Is not, built for the hanger. It's built for my body.
Exactly.
So.
I can see your sloping shoulders. When we put it on the mannequin in the tailor shop, I can figure out what customer it is just looking at it.
Yeah.
Everybody's different. So.
Yeah, it's funny. It's a question that we get even with our customers on our hangers. It's like, I've got the best hanger. Mm-hmm. But whenever I put my jacket on the hanger, it wrinkles in the back.
Exactly.
And the reason is because, of course, the jacket's not cut for the hanger, it's cut for the body.
Exactly. Yeah. So you can even see the little lines there from your sloping shoulders.
Yeah.
So.
Well, great. Well, let me try that on, and we'll see what it looks like.
All right.
Yeah.
We'll give you the trousers, and you can get started.
Yeah. Excellent. Thank you. All right. Well, I can say that the trousers aren't tight, which is an accomplishment.
I've said it before.
It's a different year.
I always take a deep breath when somebody puts something, an item on, making sure they got it on. But it looks good.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
You look comfortable.
Yeah, well.
The question is, are you comfortable enough?
Yeah, well, I think that, part of my journey has been going from, tabbed trousers, right, to high-waisted trousers cut for braces.
Yep.
And it's an evolution of my sartorial journey that'll never go back.
Yeah.
Because once you start cutting for braces and you have that extra room, the comfort is without parallel, and I think the drape is superior.
Certainly.
But I think one of the
nice.
One of the questions is how much room is enough room, because there is such thing as too much. And there's too little.
Sure. Yeah.
And so I don't know. I'd say this is.
Yeah. When you wear braces, you're going to have things on the looser side. So we teach people that. Most of our customers wear braces, which is nice. Yeah. It's easier for us because.
Speaks to your high taste level amongst your clients.
I'd like to think so. a belt with a suit it hurts.
It's a travesty.
It really hurts to see that. But if it's too loose, the problem is you can kind of see the collapsing.
Yeah.
So you just want to have the right amount of comfort so that the braces hang nicely and you have the enjoyment of not having to wear really tight trousers to keep it up just based on the waist size.
Yeah.
So, we could draw this in like a 1/4 of an inch.
Well, I don't think I'd take it in. If anything, I'd say I would be interested to know whether or not you would let it out.
Well, I would definitely not let it out.
Yeah, okay.
But you have the side adjusters, right? So the point of the side adjusters versus, say, the button adjusters or In the U.S., we call them DACs. A lot of people refer them as DACs. They come from golf trousers.
Okay.
The side adjusters can be adjusted from 1/16 of an inch to an inch. We would like you to not have to use them. I think that tells me whether something fits is whether you have to use them or not. If you don't have to use them, then the trouser is fitting really perfect. Some customers like that they have to pull them a little bit, but everyone is very different. I have some customers that they want the waistband skin tight.
Yeah.
And then I have other people that, they want it really, really loose.
Yeah.
They don't even want to feel that they have a waistband around them. So there's personal preference. But in a final fitting, the real test is when you wear it on your own without me.
Yeah.
Because when we're either in my shop or in a hotel room looking at a mirror, that's a couple of minutes. Yeah, everyone stands up straight. They don't want to slouch in front of me.
Yeah.
They exaggerate their posture one way or another. The real test is when you wear it and you can tell me, sitting at my desk all day in the office, they felt a little tight. And since I'm wearing braces, I want them looser. Or, someone who's traveling a lot and they're not going to wear braces, they're just wearing the side adjusters. They want them tighter because they don't want to constantly worry about hiking up their trousers. So it's, you got to test drive it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the only way.
Well, and I think it's there is certainly a degree of personal preference that people have, right? Yes. I'd say that this is perfect. And, I would imagine that with the side tabs, if for some reason I didn't have the braces or didn't want to wear the braces, I see side tabs on trousers cut for braces as that having that kind of, occasional optionality of being able to pull them in and wear them without braces, which, pulling these in, it's, it's
another important factor. This is a 3-piece suit. There's a waistcoat involved or a vest. You have to wear braces because if you're wearing the waistcoat, how are you going to hike up your trousers if they start sliding off of you? So you have to wear braces with a vest.
Yeah,
there's really no other way around it.
Because I guess otherwise, you'd have your trousers uncomfortably high, and they probably wouldn't stay up.
Or really tight.
Or you would have really tight, or you'd have to have a really long waistcoat, right? Because you're
don't
wearing
want.
your trousers, at your hips versus your waist.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But other than the waist size, of course, personal. But the pleats look very nice. The double forward pleat. So the first one is the deep one.
Yeah.
That crease runs down the trouser length, and then the second pleat really is there, to assist in the comfort.
Yeah.
If you have just one pleat, that could be a very clean look. That's becoming popular. A lot of young guys like that look because pleats are becoming really popular now.
Yeah.
So the youngest customers,
so it's nice to see that coming
pleats.
Back.
A lot of double-breasted also.
Yeah.
Older customers, a little bit of a race to see who can look younger.
Yeah.
Which happens with every generation. They want to go for the trimmer look. But the English pleats, the forward pleats, you can't beat the look.
Yeah. Well, I think it's incredibly clean. And again,
the break looks nice.
Another hallmark of a fantastically made bespoke garment is the fact that our crease is dropping straight down and literally landing right in the middle of my shoes.
Exactly.
And, even with a, well-made pair of trousers, even with some bespoke trousers, if it's not cut correctly, you can see that line rotate off center.
Exactly.
And, that precision, I think, really speaks to your work as a tailor.
The factors that go into making a trouser pattern is, other than someone's waist size, do they have a full seat, flat seat, prominent seat, normal seat? So you have to make it comfortable.
Yeah.
Okay. In the hips, dress. Someone dresses left or right. There's always an answer.
Yep.
That's why we recommend customers come alone.
Yeah, that's right.
And they don't bring their families.
What happens if they don't know the answer to that question? Do you it's like,
it happens
send
more
them into the
often.
bathroom? First time someone asked me that question, I was like, I didn't even know what they were talking about. We'll leave that for the comments for people to spell that one out.
It is a little bit entertaining when a customer announces it before you ask.
Yeah.
Because it's like they've done their research before. So they're proud that they know some terminology and nomenclature that they can show off.
Some archaic terminology.
So that's important because if you don't cut for that, you end up having excessive fabric on one side of the trouser. So you have to cut for dress.
Okay.
Then the knees. If someone's knock-kneed or bow-legged, in my case, I'm knock-kneed. So it's like the opposite of bow legs. My knees go in. So you have to cut for that. And then the other factor is which direction your toes are pointed.
Yeah.
They're either normal, they go out, or they go in. So it can be confusing sometimes because the customer might stand in a certain way and they'll throw their weight as we have them spin around as we're taking pictures of them. And it can be deceiving. They can look like they have, knock knees, but it turns out that they just stand with their toes pointed out and the fabric kind of pulls into the middle.
Yeah.
So we have them. I was taught this by an English tailor who taught him. He would have his customers walk down Savile Row and he'd watch them walk. And then he would measure them. So I have customers walk through my hallway.
Yeah.
And then see how they actually walk and then rest their weight on their legs. And then we determine whether they're knock-kneed, bow-legged, whatever.
Yeah. I think it's interesting with a pair of trousers that, there's so much work goes into the jacket, but I think that the degree of difference between a really well-made bespoke product and something that's off the rack can, in some ways, most immediately be seen in the trousers. Because if, this level of fit and just drape is impossible off the rack. You've always got something weird going on. You've got too much fabric. It might not look clean in the seat. And then just the comfort also of the trousers. Like I've had other custom trousers, not bespoke, where the balance is off and you feel it on your thigh.
Exactly.
And so you feel like you're walking through,
not actually tight.
all the day like this, even though they're not tight. Whereas these, the drape is, it's clearing the thigh. It's comfortable.
Another important factor, we talk a lot about pressing with a bespoke suit. The trouser's 50% of the suit.
Yeah.
So when you're making the panels of the trousers, you need to iron and shrink where you're making the pockets, certainly around the calves, to shape around the calves. The thigh, if someone has wide hips or narrow hips, you need to shrink properly. A lot of customers complain about pockets that gape. Well, that's a big red flag that if they were custom made, they were not really truly cut for the customer.
Yeah.
Because on a bespoke suit, your pockets will never open.
Yeah.
You could have very bow legs where it's very common for people with bow legs to have pockets that gape open.
Yeah.
On a bespoke suit, we're shrinking away excess material around the pocket seams and we're cutting wedges, as we talked about in our first video together, openings in the pattern that help shape around their legs.
It's amazing how much better a bespoke garment is, especially at this level. And these like little nuanced details, unless someone were to really point them out, you really wouldn't, think to look. And as you speak, right, I'm looking here on the pocket and, this
you
seam.
You shouldn't even notice it.
This seam, it's like, if you would have said these trousers didn't have pockets, to someone looking from across the room, they wouldn't know
one of the
that this has
first questions
pockets.
I get is customers will say, did you not make this with pockets?
Yeah.
And the answer is you just didn't notice them.
Yeah, you didn't notice. Look at how flat and perfectly that lies.
If it was a pair of casual trousers like cottons or cords, you'd have an open lap seam, as we do a lot.
Okay.
And that hand stitch goes from the top of the waistband all the way down. And then the pocket really blends in because that stitch you see just continues down the trouser. It's a
and
nice
there's another way to
detail.
do the pocket where it's at a slight angle, but you would
can
always do it
angle
on the seam.
So on flat front pants, we'll do that a lot. We'll angle the pocket. It's typical that you'll have a flat front trouser with an angled pocket. Some tailors will do a besom pocket. That's a little bit more rare. That's more of an Italian thing. But generally on American and English trousers, which are the most similar, you'll do on seam or slanted. And then also my personal favorite, the Western pocket or the frogmouth pocket.
Yeah. And that's whenever you really begin to have fun with bespoke, right?
Yeah. I'm making a pinstripe flannel suit for a guy with frogmouth pockets.
Really?
That's a way to say he's wearing that suit for fun.
Yeah. Absolutely.
He's not wearing that to a bank.
Yeah. Incredibly comfortable. And again, that element of a properly made pair of trousers, that drape and just how clean and crisp this is.
They look pretty good. Let's do a little twirl for me, Kirby. Okay. Let's see how they look.
How's it in, the seat? We did one pocket on the right.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And then this is with the button. Okay.
Yeah. I would clear the seat just a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. The waistband's okay as you like it. But I would just clear the seat a little bit.
And when you say clear the seat, are we adding or taking away?
We're taking away just a little bit of excessive cloth down the seat, and I'll just give you a really super clean line. Yeah. But the amazing thing is there's still pleated pants.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we want to keep things clean and crisp.
Absolutely.
And this fabric, the Fin Moresco, I mean, it just holds a crease so well.
It's a very sharp crease. Yeah, I mean, the importance of pleats, I feel like, can't be overstated. I mean, one, in terms of affecting just the beauty of drape by giving you that fabric that you need.
Yeah.
But if you're someone that puts anything in your pocket, to not have the pleats, the moment you put so much as a small wallet, much less your phone, all of a sudden you have it pulling across the front. That's why I try to never put anything, in my trousers. But, if I need to, I'm happy I have the pleats.
Exactly. We would avoid people putting anything in their trousers that they don't have to, other than, a small wallet or something like that, cash or something. But we've put all kinds of crazy secret pockets in people's trousers, from an AirTag pocket
Oh, really?
to other pockets I'm not going to mention.
Yeah, I bet. Well, great. Well, let's, I guess, try the waistcoat on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Even on this lining, you can see the shape. Okay, just cinch that in a little bit.
Perfect.
Fix that. And we have a good length.
Yeah. Didn't know whether or not. I know that on a normal waistcoat or vest, you'd always leave the bottom one unbuttoned.
Exactly.
But here
we're gonna add that other button there.
Mm-hmm.
We have our 5 show 6, so add the 6 to the bottom there. And that's pretty good, nice and clean here.
Yep.
Fits your neck nicely.
Mm-hmm. It's comfortable.
Beautiful. I mean, your 6 button was probably a victim of all the traveling that it just got lost in my luggage somewhere. But it looks very nice. It's fitted nicely. I mean, we don't want a waistcoat that's big.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a waistcoat gives a guy shape.
Yeah.
Or keeps his shape also.
Yeah. So I was in London recently with having dinner at Mark's Club with several good friends. I mean, Nick Vaux, Mark Chamberlain. I mean, like the best dressed of London, of which I am an imposter. And they were all wearing double-breasted suits and waistcoats. I mean, not waistcoats with it's like either a double-breasted suit or a single-breasted with waistcoat. Sure. And it was, we were kind of, I was joking about how, I was happy I wore my waistcoat because I was, getting a little bit of a complex. And, they were, kind of commenting amongst the table about how, in London, I mean, in formal, kind of the settings, having either a double-breasted jacket that you always keep closed or a waistcoat so that you're not showing too much shirt is kind of one of those hallmarks of elegance.
In the days where shirts were considered undergarments, the waistcoat kept a man dressed when he had to take off his jacket. Mm-hmm. I like it because even though we're in such an informal society, we're actually seeing a lot of men choose to wear a waistcoat with their suit because they think it actually gives them a little bit more of a style that they can mix and match things with. So it's great. We've occasionally made double-breasted suits with waistcoats.
Yeah.
Rare.
Yeah.
But it's been done.
Well, I guess in a New York winter, you could take it as an additional layer.
Yeah, certainly.
Yeah.
But this looks pretty good. We will add your runaway button back in New York. But this looks really fantastic. Okay. We have a nice clean shoulder line. Mm-hmm. The waistcoat comes in nicely to your back. We don't have to cinch it too much. You want to be able to cinch it a little bit because that's what that belt is there for, that strap. But if this was not a custom-made waistcoat, a bespoke waistcoat, you would just have pools of fabric underneath your blades.
And then as far as the length, again, you always want,
exactly. So that. We got the curve to end right at the edge of the waistband. Yeah. So if this was just a 1/4 of an inch shorter, you'd see the line of the waistband, which we don't want.
Yeah. This right here.
Yeah. And because you have high-waisted trousers, which is good, and we can only make the waistcoat so short before it starts to look costume-ish because you want a nice line to it. It does slope and slant nicely. So the back is short enough to just come under the waistband of your trouser, but it just slopes nicely across the pleats.
Yeah. Great.
Excellent.
Well, now for the
the
final moment,
This is the one that everyone's been waiting for.
Here we go. Look at this.
Cue the dramatic music.
I know. Wow. Well, this is fantastic. I mean, it's amazing what a good suit can do, for how you feel. I feel smarter, taller, and better looking already.
Excellent. All right, let's get everything in order here. Back looks fantastic. A clean chest.
Yeah.
Something that can be very difficult to do with sloping shoulders. Wonderful.
And a beautiful roll. Here, let's sit.
Yep.
Look at that. Wow.
Very nice. Very nice. Yeah. Hugging your neck very well. The roll is beautiful. The Fin Moresco cloth is just gorgeous.
And another hallmark
very
of
low
Bespoke.
maintenance cloth.
I mean, look at how this just
Exactly.
kisses unbuttoned.
One of the things that we look for is how this lays when it's not buttoned. I believe I've said when we first measured you, the coat needs to look like it's buttoned when it's not buttoned because it's telling you that the balance is correct.
Yeah.
If the coat cuts away too much, you have a problem with the front balance. If it starts to go crisscross like that, there's another problem with the balance.
Yeah.
So it should always look like it is buttoned.
Mm-hmm.
It also tells you that the waist size is correct.
Yeah.
If it's opening too much, then that half waist measurement is too small on you.
Yeah.
We'll measure the sleeve length.
Yeah, I feel
Make
like my
sure
right
that's
cuff has
correct.
been shrinking a little bit. I'm curious if this is a dry cleaning issue.
Well, I always tell my customers, if I don't make your shirts, I have no responsibility. Every now and then, I'll make the mistake of saying, well, your shirt sleeve's a little short. They go, oh, look at the back label.
Yeah.
All right, we'll have to update your measurements.
Yeah.
So I have no responsibility.
Well, I would do the cuffs of the jacket to be symmetric to the hand.
Yeah. So we have 4.5, and we have 4 3/4. Now, you're a tall guy. 4 3/4, I think, is plenty for you.
Yeah.
You'd be showing about 1/4 of an inch if you prefer. So we could take this one up.
Yeah, I would maybe take this up.
Just 1/4 of an inch.
Just a touch. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
And then what else? I mean, it's, again, we had a little
The
bit
most
of...
important thing is that the chest is good.
Okay.
You have that drop right. I don't need to comment on that.
Yeah.
It's been commented
been
on
well
enough
documented.
by everybody.
Yeah.
But what we don't have is any kind of dimple or anything that's under the armpit that's telling us that we need to drop that shoulder even more. It's completely clean. You have a little bit of drape in the chest. As we've talked about, we only use 1/8 of an inch shoulder pad. Actually, honestly, lately we've been doing a lot of no pad at all.
Really?
With the same sleeve head. No shirt sleeve shoulder, nothing like that, but we've been doing no pad at all for some people. Given you have sloping shoulders, you don't really need more of that. So for you, the 1/8 of an inch is, is plenty.
Need something.
Yeah, you need something to keep it nice and clean. But we have the angle of the shoulder perfect. You have nice suppression through the waist. The sleeve pitch is great.
Yeah.
Now, of course, this came out of my luggage that's been in a few other cities.
Yeah.
We always will, on a trunk show, even if we do a final fitting, we're always tweaking something. We give everything a good press before we ship it to the customer in a hanging box filled with lots of tissue. That's the way to properly deliver it to the customer.
Yeah.
So,
but, I mean, even, coming out of your luggage, I mean, the drape of the sleeve is, as perfect as one could imagine.
Yeah, and the back looks really great. You have... One of the things is making sure you have enough comfort, but you don't need excessive fullness in the back to have that comfort because we have the depth of the armhole correct.
Yeah.
The waistline position is perfect on you.
And I've got a very kind of concave, back.
But it comes in nicely.
And getting that with the waist suppression so that, there's no, wrinkling across the back is, in fact, as many tailors have lamented, quite difficult. And this is perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's and the length looks good. We discussed that a little bit with the earlier fittings, but I think the length ended up being great for you. And then we had to shorten it a little bit in your pattern because as sewing gets thinner, their clothes will get longer magically. So we had to adjust that back to where it was. You know, the lapel's a little bit narrower because there's less of you.
Yeah.
So you didn't need as wide of a lapel as I have, which covers more real estate, as I like to say.
This house kind of approach, which is not so much a house style as much as maybe a house philosophy, which is New York refined.
Yes.
Where, you know, it has that sophistication without being too exaggerated. And so it's very much a custom bespoke suit, you know, being done at a very high level without, you know, screaming or yelling, which you can find in some of the, you know, kind of the fringes of even bespoke.
Exactly. Those who know.
Yeah.
We don't have to, like I've said, we're in New York. It's a melting pot. We have so many different influences from around Europe, around the world, the tailors who work for us, the places where our customers come from. We're trying to encapsulate all that history to make a garment that works for a pretty wide-ranging audience. We have customers from as far as the Middle East to Australia, Europe, all over the United States. South America is actually becoming a big market for us now. So I think this is a garment that people can wear all over the world, different cultures, different societies, different places of business, and fit in very well and feel good about how they look.
But it has a crispness to it that I'm, you know, really kind of
Well, the fabric itself, we picked out Smith & Wesson Fin Moresco. It's about 12 ounces, as I recall. It's a great weight for this type of open weave. As they also call it, travel suitings is the other name of that collection. That open weave with the type of yarn that's used, it creates this incredible wrinkle resistance. It's 100% wool. There's no treatment needed to it. It's the original technical fabric. There's a few different mills making this type of cloth in their own version. This happens to be one of our go-tos, our best-selling one, and they have a few shades of navy. We went with what I call English navy, real navy, which looks great in the light, especially on camera. It's going to look a little bit more punchier in the daylight out in the sun. But in the evening, it's going to be extremely elegant. And something like this could be worn in a black tie optional setting in lieu of a formal wear if someone had to travel with one item. They wear a white shirt and a silver tie or a navy tie, and they'll blend in pretty well. And for someone who travels as much as you do, and like how much I travel, this is the fabric that's going to be very friendly for that kind of lifestyle. It doesn't require a garment bag. You can put it in your luggage, hang it out at night, and in the morning it probably will be pretty much ready to go. A little bit of steam on the sleeves. Other than that, I would caution someone to probably not hit it with a lot of steam. Don't try pressing it yourself. Again, this fabric is very user-friendly. Is it the sexiest, most luxurious hand? No. I had someone the other day I showed it to, and he was like, how about 150s and 170s? And we got up to 200s. And I said, this feels pretty good, but is there something better? Well, everyone's different.
This is your New York, Wall Street client, but I think that the luxury here is really in the, the substance of the hand.
Exactly.
Right. It has body. It has drape. The suit has that clean, crisp silhouette and drape that is, unmistakably bespoke, and it fits fantastically. Feels beautiful. Is comfortable.
Yeah. And final fitting. I'm always looking for things. So. Yeah,
I know this is your perfectionism is probably gets the worst of you.
Exactly. I don't make really much eye contact in the last fitting. I'm just things are constantly moving around, looking at how, again, you're actually wearing it finished with the lining, with the canvas, with the buttons. Now we really see how things are laying on you. Yeah. And with a weight fluctuation and change, we've had to people's posture can change a lot. Yeah. So. When I'm making these observations, especially when someone changes weight, it's not just about their waist size or their chest size. When people bring things in after they lose weight to be recut, whether they go up or down, they think it's just a simple matter of let's pinch in the waist or let out the waist and that's it. Yeah. Unfortunately, after a certain point, I think 20 pounds more or less is usually the maximum. Things really change. Yeah. I saw it in someone the other day. Their posture was a lot more exaggerated because there was less of them there. Yeah. Their drop shoulder was a lot more than it used to be. And their high shoulder was even more exaggerated now because they were a little bit more bonier. So to make a garment perfect.
Yeah.
The disclaimer is good for your health, bad for your clothes.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Well, I think that, part of the commitment, part of the kind of the value of Bespoke is the fact that, the Bespoke tailor is supporting the garment, not just in its delivery, right, but also kind of through its lifetime. And I know that, many Bespoke tailors actually, encourage and sometimes even insist that customers bring their suits back for pressing and for minor alterations, because you have the inlays that allow alterations to take place, over the course of one's life. But what are the limits? In Paolo Martorano, right, and how it is that you're supporting the garments you've made for customers.
Sure.
What is, kind of customary, and, where's the line drawn in terms of, you can't completely remake something if someone's lost 30 pounds.
I like to make the comparison, and it could be a little snooty with some people, but
we're New Yorkers.
In New York, it's okay.
Yeah.
No one gets offended. If you have a Rolls Royce, and you need to change the oil, you could do it yourself. You could take it to the mobile station or the local corner station, or you could take it back to Rolls Royce.
Yeah.
And when you take it back to Rolls Royce, they're going to look over everything.
Yeah.
Of course, they might say, we can sell you some new, floor mats or something like that. But what we want to see is our finished product on the person. We want to see how things have changed. There's certain fabrics like cashmere, they stretch a lot.
Yeah.
We often have to take them in after a couple of months of wear.
Okay.
Because they might grow on a person.
Okay.
So that's one of the things that we want to see. This is all sewn together using natural fibers. The fabric is natural fiber, and the thread that goes into it is natural fiber, and the moisture and the humidity and the traveling and the person's body and how they wear their clothes. Are they rough on their clothes? Are they taking the subway, or do they have a chauffeur?
Yeah.
Are they flying Southwest, or are they flying a Gulfstream? All those things are going to determine how the clothes are going to wear over time. Yeah. So we want to see how that has progressed on you, how it's changed on you, and update those things. And of course, someone with weight changes or knee replacement is another one where your clothes are going to change, and there's a lot of customers that go through that at a certain point in their life. We want to update things for them so they can enjoy them for life, because these really should last a lifetime, sometimes multiple generations. But there are limitations. So, you can't really let out a shoulder after a garment's finished. That's pretty much impossible to do. So if you gain weight, you're really limited as far as that's concerned.
Or if you're spending too much time in the gym.
Yeah, well, that's also common. We can only let out the sleeve so much. Yeah. And the problem is the armhole shape you can only change to a certain degree too. So that's the biggest limitation, is the shoulders. That's really like the horizontal spinal cord of the suit.
Okay.
And, if you get those right, everything else should really fall into place. Yeah. So
within reason, a customer could bring you a suit, after a couple of years, and you would alter it if you needed to.
Sure.
But, part of that ethic, from what I'm hearing, is that there's a certain limit beyond which, whereas a tailor, you say, look, we're kind of at the end of the road with this garment. It can't be, altered beyond, however much weight you've gained or lost, or however your body has changed. Yeah. And, if you really are committed to this suit, we have to remake it.
Yeah, certainly. In the opposite direction, when you lose weight, chopping the shoulders down, well, the sleeve is attached to the shoulder. Yeah. So, how much room can you really take the sleeve up or down? Yeah. So that's another factor. The shape that we can take in, well, we have pockets too. Yeah. So that's another roadblock.
Like the trousers, one of the things, and, this weight loss, kind of hiccup I've experienced is that there is a functional limit to how much you can take in the waist before your back pockets are like kissing.
Yeah, right? Or your side pockets are starting to become your rear pockets. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, this is great. So I guess a few minor kind of alterations, nothing really, again, finishing at this point.
Exactly. Yeah. We're shortening a sleeve a quarter of an inch, not a problem. We do the 2 dummy, 2 working holes, which is more of the English tradition. So we have plenty of tolerance to make that minor adjustment. We can also take it from the top of the sleeve.
Especially with a fabric like this.
Exactly. We don't have to worry about a plaid. Yeah. So that's very easy to do. We're going to do some pressing work, some iron work around the collar. Okay. Again, we're doing normal stuff. We're not in a fitting room. So I want to make sure that collar stays nice and tight on your neck.
Yeah.
But it looks pretty good. And again, the balance is great. We just want to make sure it's absolutely glued
Spot
to
on.
you. The only time I'm ever going to use the word glued, as far as a garment on this level is concerned, is it should look like it's glued to your neck.
Not your shirt, but your jacket.
Yeah.
Your neck.
Yeah. So just give that some iron work. And again, it needs a good pressing after all this traveling. But you'll have it delivered to you within about 10 days.
Yeah.
Nice and pressed, ready to go with, again, those minor tweaks. We always take lots of pictures to know how it looked the last time we saw somebody in the garment. So all those things will get accounted for on your paper pattern.
Okay.
So that the next time you order something, we can have it ready to go. Now, we always like to see someone for a fitting. So usually the second order, we cut what's called a pocket based, where it's like a based fitting, but the pockets are now made. Okay. Some of the facing has been done.
Yeah. And how many fittings did we have for this? I mean, had it not been for the first final fitting?
I mean, we were pretty lucky. We had the first based fitting.
Yeah.
Then we moved to a forward fitting.
Okay.
And then we had a finished garment. Yeah. Which is really how you would want it to go.
Yeah.
But we had a little bit of a hiccup.
Aside from the wrench.
Yeah.
So you would go from normally 3 touch points, 3 fittings. Yeah. And then after that first garment, once you have a foundational pattern to work from, you can work that down to 2?
Exactly. Yeah. Or even less. I mean, there's many customers that get their clothes shipped to them.
Okay.
And we'd love to see it.
Yeah.
But they're at the point where they literally just text me and say, I want that. Yeah. Usually off of our Instagram.
Okay.
Or some of the Mills Instagrams, because they're really great social media now, and say, I want this jacket, I want this suit. We cut it. And then, within a couple of weeks, more like a couple of months, they get it.
Yeah.
And that's really great. We'll see it at a trunk show. We'll see it the next time they're in New York, and we'll make any notes or changes necessary. But the pattern that we have for a customer, we'll start with whatever they ordered first, single-breasted, double-breasted. So let's say your neck suit's double-breasted. We're now going to make a double-breasted pattern. We have your single-breasted pattern to work from, and we have the algorithm of what needs to be added to the front edge to cut for double-breasted. Yeah. But with double-breasted, because of that unique overlap that it has in the front, it always requires a fitting because it can be tricky with the button spacing. It's different for everybody. Everyone's different.
Well, the fittings are part of the, what lends the garment its integrity. So to the extent that fittings, can be had, I think from a client, it's certainly to their best interest that they do the fittings.
Exactly.
I know that you've got certain clients that are so busy or so demanding or just not in New York often enough that, they say, look, just make it straight to finish. But, I would imagine that as a bespoke tailor, I mean, your preference would be to always have those fittings because it's what allows the garment to be perfect.
This is not uncommon amongst your friends probably on Savile Row, but one of my top 3 customers, I haven't seen him in person in 7 years.
Really?
I have to go by what I see on the news.
Huh. Amazing.
That's what I get to work with.
Yeah. Wow. Well, this is going to be a pleasure to wear. You're going to have to, rip it off of me because it's so comfortable. Looks so good. I want to wear it. But I understand that, those final details are really, part of, what owning a Paolo Martorano bespoke garment is all about. So, Paolo, this has been an incredible journey. Sorry for the small wrench in the spokes with the weight loss. But again, here we are with a final finished garment. And I have to say it is already amongst one of my most favorite and certainly best fitting suits. So
thank you so much. You wear it many times.
Yeah, well, you certainly will. And this has been an honor and a pleasure. And I look forward to continuing this journey, hopefully soon with another commission.
Very good.
Yeah, thank you.
Wear it in good health.